We in the building. We in this bitch. We in the building, bitch. We in the building. We in this bitch.
Finally, PTA and RZeroB have come back to BGN, which means that finally RZeroB and PTA have come back to talk Giants. Now, in today's entertainment for the evening, we're going to be covering that Rudy Poo, cheesehead wearing punk, Aaron Rodgers. We're also going to be talking about the man who don't even wear the pants in his relationship. Don't want to know. Don't think I want a 70-year-old head coach in Russell Wilson. And finally, we will be talking about those candy asses that are making moves that are benefiting us, the New York Football Giants. So if you're new, hit the like, share the stream, comment down below, because in front of the millions and millions of PTA and RZeroB fans, you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on PGN, you can find us on Twitch, you can find us sitting on the couch with your grandmammy. The fact of the matter is, you about to get the entertainment ass kicking of a lifetime. If you smell what PTA and RZeroB is cooking.
Is this thing working? Is this?
I think that was the best one yet. I think that was the best one yet.
Is this working? Is this on? I don't know. Hey,
hello.
So it's weird, right, y'all? Because somehow, some way,
is this thing on?
Pest the Analyst and RZeroB, we snuck into BGN Network Studio. Okay. Here's the thing.
Holding it hostage.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's a lot of buttons and shit, okay? Like there's a whole lot of buttons and shit.
Whole lot of shit.
And I don't know how any of this shit works. So I'm gonna be pushing buttons.
We're just gonna start pushing shit.
I'm gonna push buttons because I'm trying to figure out what it all does. Okay.
If anything breaks, you guys can put it on Viz's tab.
Yes, put it on Viz's tab.
Put it on Viz's tab.
He lives in a gated community.
He can afford it.
He goes to private schools and stuff. Yeah,
he's good.
Put it on his tab. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, man?
What's up, baby? You sexy son of a bee.
Listen, man, I can't complain, man.
You can't complain, baby.
So
happy first day on BGN.
Happy first day on BGN. Now, first and foremost, we would like to humbly thank BGN for reaching out and saying, hey, why don't you handsome sons of bitches come over here and hang out with us and talk sports with us. Now, here's the thing. BGN got a lot of Eagles fans. They got some Cowboys fans. They got some Commanders fans. They got some 49ers fans. They got so many fans, okay? But it's NFC East heavy, except for the fact that they don't got no Giants individuals, and we fixing that today. Thank you very much, BGN. We're so humbled and grateful that you saw something in us and put us on a team. So thank you very much for that. Shout out to Classified with Joe, that handsome son of a bitch. Joe, what's going on? Nerd Cage is up in here. Gabrielle, what's going on? What's going on? Appreciate all y'all for popping through and saying what's up to your boys. We got a whole lot of stuff to talk about, man. And as per the introduction, we basically got to talk about a lot of moves that other teams are making that could potentially benefit the New York Football Giants, because there's a lot of interesting things happening. So yeah, here we go. Hey, Max, I'm waiting.
Max don't return my calls, my text messages.
Disappeared. He totally disappeared. He hasn't returned none of my messages, Nothing. It just, he randomly pops up, says one thing, and disappears again.
Listen,
It's
Max,
natural.
I mean, if you communicate with us, we'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
you and your humongous vape. We'd love to bring,
Is it
bring
a humongous? Is his vape?
Oh, it's huge.
Because the last time he had like a normal size vape. He's got like a humongous vape now.
Oh, man, he started taking some supplements, and it's big now.
Yeah.
Pause.
Okay, anyway. Getting back on topic. So let's start with this. The first really big blockbuster piece of news that came out was that the Green Bay Packers went on ahead and signed Aaron Rodgers to a monster deal. It is a
Huge.
monster ass
Biggest in NFL history.
and I'm not even sure how they can afford this contract. I don't know.
When you don't have an owner, it makes it possible.
I don't know. I'm not sure how they can afford this contract. I don't know how they're doing it.
Oh, I think they're charging everybody else more property tax.
I have
That lives
no
in Green Bay,
clue
Wisconsin.
how they signed this damn contract. Okay, Rob, tell me, man. When you initially saw this news, what was your reaction?
I was blown away. I'll be honest. I didn't think that it was going to be to the point where he was actually going to go back to Green Bay. I thought that it was probably to where he buried the hatchet, with whatever happened in previous years, but wanted to, especially after the way that they lost last year. I thought that it would be a way for him just to be like, listen, I want to try it somewhere else. And when I saw that they gave him 4 years, $200 million, $153 million of it guaranteed. First and foremost, good for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
and his agent. I mean, good for him. I mean, the guy went from being the number one pick to the next one off the board to the 24th pick to the shadow for 4 years to league MVP back-to-back, Super Bowl champion, and now the highest paid quarterback and the highest paid player in NFL history. And I mean, that's just crazy. So good for him. Good for his agent. He's going to be set for life. And wasn't shortly after that they put the franchise tag on Devontae Adams, which I'm sure was the plan all along, and stuff like that. And Aaron Rodgers even said that's not even the whole part of the deal. So we'll see what happens. It wouldn't even surprise me, honestly, if there was some type of ownership stake involved with it, off the books, something like that, where he could be involved. Maybe some type of like GM. As far as like who to bring in, who to draft, who to like moves to make, where he's kind of involved, kind of like how Magic Johnson was with the Lakers in his career. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, he's earned it with his play, his performance. He's been solely the reason why that team is always in contention. Now he's got to back it up. Now I would say he's got a lot on his shoulders coming into this year. You just got a $200 million contract. You better come out and play lights out. You better win the division. You better make a playoff run and do something, because if you don't, you're going to look like it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. So good for him, though. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when I saw that, I was like, wait, how? Because the Packers,
the Giants didn't pay that much money.
The Packers didn't have that much cap space, so I was like, "Wait, how? How?" And so that was the first question I had was how. Okay. After that, right? I was like, okay, so then why draft Julian Love? What's going to happen with Julian Love? That was the second. That was like the next thought was, wait a minute. They just drafted a quarterback.
Well, I thought for a second that Denver would have made a play for Jordan Love because their head coach was the original offensive coordinator or quarterbacks coach with Green Bay, and maybe he would have brought Jordan Love over. But then we'll get to that, and them and stuff like that. But I thought that would have been the move And to be honest, they still may do that to have somebody that's familiar with the system to be the backup for. But I mean, Jordan Love is not a starter right now. I don't think he's going to make a lateral move to go and be a backup somewhere else. Maybe, but at this point, if I'm him, it's like, so now you got Rodgers for another 4 years. This is his third year in the league since he was drafted, I think. If I'm him, I'm maybe trying to go somewhere where you could potentially compete for a starting job and maybe get some playing time and get on the field, and stuff like that. Because at this point, it's got to be a wash. You know, you can't keep him on the roster, a young talent like that, paying him what you're paying him being a first round pick, and you don't even put him on the field. Like,
right. This is crazy. That's why that was my first thought. Because it was like, but wait a minute, you just drafted a quarterback. Like you literally just drafted a quarterback.
Yup.
Why are you going to sign this crazy ass contract right now? Like, why are you going to agree to this? So that was my thought. And then I saw those same murmurings in regards to the Broncos and the connection with Jordan Love. I saw that and I was like, okay, all right. So maybe they're going to push Jordan Love over to the Broncos. Okay, that could make sense. And then I was like, but there's some other teams that could potentially be interested in the Jordan Love, right? You know, the Colts could be interested in the Jordan Love. We'll talk about that in a second. The Commanders. I'm sorry, I was trying not to call them the old name, and it took me a minute to come up with it. The Commanders.
For a second.
Yeah,
no, I know it begins with a C.
The Commanders could use a quarterback, right?
The Commander Elite. Everybody else is just a team.
That's stupid. Don't give them that. That's gross. So yeah,
it's honestly disrespectful to Disney. Honestly,
the Commanders could use a quarterback, right? The Panthers could potentially use a quarterback. So there are teams out there. There are teams out there that are looking for a quarterback, right? Yep. And they're trying to figure this thing out. And boom, Jordan Love becomes available, right? So now we're sitting there and we're like, okay, well, great, man. There's some moves that could be made. We'll see what happens, right? I even saw a couple of Giants fans on Twitter say, should we maybe talk about Jordan Love? And I was like, I don't know. We want to do that. Maybe. I don't know. Right? I even saw some Giants fans. Saints, Bucks. Yep, you're right, Max. So there's teams. There's teams out here. And so we're all sitting and we're waiting for a trade to happen somewhere in the league. And then we get one. We get a hell of a trade. It is a hell of a trade. So the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks agree on a trade that is essentially going to give 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a defensive tackle.
So they get 2 first, 2 seconds, a 5th-round pick, Shelby Harris, Drew Lock, and Noah Fant.
Okay,
and they get Russell Wilson in a
4th. Listen, this all happened in the same day. The NFL was drunk as hell 2 days ago. Was this 2 days ago?
Not to mention, this was just yesterday.
This was yesterday.
Not to mention, right after that trade went down, the Seahawks released Bobby Wagner.
And
they cut Bobby Wagner.
As another,
And I'll say this. I had a day, 24 hours to really kind of digest that trade. And people are probably going to disagree with me wholeheartedly, which I understand.
Right. Wait. Hold on a second. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to make history. Okay, this is the first RZeroB hot take on BGN. Okay, it's the very, very first one. There will be many, many more. But at 15 minutes into the stream, on the first day, the very first stream, on March 9th, in the year of our Lord, 2022, we are getting ready to have the first ever RZeroB hot take. Hit him. Let's go.
I honestly think that the Broncos lost. in this trade. Big time. Big time.
Really?
Because when you think about it, so a defensive tackle and Shelby Harris, you can replace a defensive tackle. That's easily, replaced either via free agency, a draft, whatever.
Sure.
A talent like Noah Fant that are Andrew Luck. Now, granted, Drew Lock was not a very good quarterback, but he's a first-round pick. Noah Fant is a first-round pick. I think to lose Noah Fant and to lose 2 firsts, 2 second, a first and a second from this year, your first and second from next year, and to lose those 3 types of players – and to lose a 5th-round pick, and you're only getting a 4th-round pick in Russell Wilson, to me, that is a horrible trade because they could have went and kept all of their draft picks, and they could have brought in a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. That would have costed them a lot less. I think Jimmy could definitely have played in that division. The guy played in probably one of the toughest divisions this year in football in the NFC West, going up against Russ, going up against Matthew Stafford and Kyler Murray, which all teams at one point looked like they were going to make it to the postseason up until midway through the year when Russell got hurt and he missed time. But it was still a 3-way game slot. I mean, all 3 of those 3 out of those 4 teams were in the postseason. 3 out of those 4 teams in the division were in the postseason. So, and Jimmy Garoppolo just went to the conference championship game and almost won, that game. So the bottom line is that I honestly think the Broncos, they could have went and picked up Jimmy Garoppolo and still maybe drafted a quarterback. Or maybe you take that 1st-round pick and you trade back and you collect more picks and everything like that. That's what I would have done. And now you give a guy like Noah Fant, you're giving Jimmy Garoppolo a tight end. He's going to have 3 wide receivers. They have the 11th best pass-protecting offensive line in football. They have a decent running back and a young running back. Maybe you go and you sign a good veteran like a Leonard Fournette, somebody that can pound the rock for you and stuff like that, so Jimmy G doesn't have to go and run the football, throw the football a lot. But I honestly think that they got the L on this one. And me personally, even if they did the deal, I might have felt a little bit better with it had they had traded away, like kept Noah Fant and traded like a Tim Patrick or a Jerry Jeudy, because they have 3 good wide receivers right now that they could have gotten rid of one of those. And can you imagine Noah Fant with Russell Wilson and how good that guy would have been? So for me personally, it's an L for the Broncos and a huge W for the Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion.
Wow. Okay. Well, before we continue, I'd just like to give a shout out to Kenneth J. Casper Sr. We appreciate you liking the stream over on Facebook. Thank you very much for that. All right. Well, I'm inclined to agree with you, to be honest with you. I'm inclined to agree with you. Now, here's the caveat, though. Here's the caveat. Because if the Broncos are in the Super Bowl anytime in the next 2 years, then
it was a success.
Yeah, did they really?
I mean, to be honest, it really just. So here's the thing. I agree with your comment. They need they're probably going to re-sign him to a longer deal and give him a newer contract. He's probably going to get somewhere close to what Aaron Rodgers got as far as money-wise. Let's just say they sign him to a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal.
Here we go. I gotta remember that I can do this. I gotta remember. Shout out to Joseph Clark.
And Joe, we'll read this here. Joe says, Broncos are ready to compete for a Super Bowl. Wilson makes them serious contenders. Joe, 100% you're correct on that. Wilson does make them a huge contender, in that division and in the AFC. So it does make them a contender.
Max and I are right here. You see this shit? Max and I, we're both right here. We are right here, Max.
And he says it's Super Bowl in the next 2 years or bust for Denver. now and only for Denver, but Russ also. I agree. I agree. I would think if they sign Russ to a 4-year deal, they need to at least have all 3 of those years. They need to be in the conference championship game. And I would say 2 out of those 4 years, if not 3, they need to be in the big game. They need to be in the Super Bowl. I would say if he loses 1, wins 2, he at least has to make it to 2 Super Bowls. Bare minimum has to make it to 2 Super Bowls and win one of them. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl in the next 3 years, then I agree. It is going to be a waste, a bust.
It's a fail. It's a fail if they don't get the Super Bowl in the next couple of years. But if they do, who gives a shit about what they gave up to get to that Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? They sold their soul for a Super Bowl. They better get it. Right? They better get it. Here's the reason why I say I'm inclined to agree with you, because Seattle can do way more with the haul they just got than for the long term.
They could go out and they could draft a quarterback right now.
For the longevity of their franchise, the Seahawks are going to win this trade. I that's why I'm inclined to agree with you there, because I wholeheartedly feel that with what Seattle just got, they could potentially turn their team right around and be right back to being Seattle that we always talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like they might pick up a bunch of players and not miss a beat. And it might give if Pete Carroll stays. I honestly don't think Pete Carroll's going to stay. I think at 7 years old, I don't think that he really wants to. But if he does, it gives Pete Carroll an option to rebuild the Seahawks the way he wanted them to be in the first place, which is I don't think that he was anticipating Russell Wilson being the type of quarterback that he was. And I don't think that they ever figured that they were going to lose and get away from the running game. I mean, Russell Wilson ended up being a really, really good passer. Marshawn Lynch ended up moving on, and that was it. Now, they lost pieces on defense, which their defense lacked for them, but I think that's what Pete Carroll wants to get back to. He wants to get back to being a run-first team. They can go out right now and grab a Malik Willis. They can go out right now and maybe trade up now and get a guy like Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh. They can go out and make some serious moves now. I think that if they were to re-sign, they got to get healthy at the running back position. They cannot stay healthy at the running back spot. They need to bring in a running back, somebody that's going to sustain. I think a guy like James Conner would be great for Seattle in running the football. He'll bring that power running right back to where they were at. I can see them going and getting him and getting a rookie running quarterback that's going to be there and restarting this process all over. You've got weapons. You got Metcalf. You still got Lockett. Yep.
Now you added Noah Fant. You just have to beef up the offensive line, get better in that direction, and get yourself another rookie quarterback, and I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see this question from Danny Thomas, and this is actually a good question, because this is one of those moves that could affect our direction. Do we think Giants should sign Bobby Wagner? What do you think, Rob?
I mean, I would love for the Giants to sign Bobby Wagner. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the guy's an 8-time Pro Bowler, amazing athlete, and I think he could still play. I just think if we're talking about potentially cutting Blake Martinez and then you're going to go out and sign Bobby Wagner because you need to free up money, that's kind of going ass backwards. Now, unless you can get Bobby Wagner for cheap, which that's not going to happen. The guy he's been a Pro Bowler. I mean, you're not going to get him for cheaper than what you're paying for Blake Martinez right now. But if they were somehow able to maybe get him on a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal and stuff like that, that might be a good move for them to do. I don't see it happening. I feel like they have a better opportunity to maybe restructure Blake Martinez and keep him than going and getting a guy like Bobby Wagner, because he's going to be anywhere from, I think Bobby's going to be anywhere from like $16 to $18 million a year at middle linebacker, and that's just, to me, that's just too much to pay.
Yeah, so I listen. If you ask me if I want Bobby Wagner on my team, I'd be a fool to say no. Okay,
of course,
be an absolute fool to say no to Bobby Wagner. Okay, don't get it twisted. Bobby Wagner's the truth. Okay, he's a real deal. He's a monster. Okay, and I would love to have Bobby Wagner on his team, but I don't think it's possible. unless we can figure out a way, and I'm sure there's some brainiac asshole up at MetLife crunching some numbers, figuring out ways to make all this shit work. I'm sure there is, right? And so maybe they can figure out a way to make it happen, right? Because all these other teams are doing all this crazy business with the cap. And I'm saying, like, I don't know how they're doing it. I have no clue how they make this stuff happen, but they're making it happen. So, maybe the Giants could figure out some way to finagle it and get Bobby Wagner on his team. But I just don't see it happening. I don't see us being able to afford what he's going to ask for.
Agreed.
I don't know. I have no idea how they would be able to convince Bobby Wagner to come to New York to come play on the Giants, a team that's not a contender, a team that's not.
He's going to want to go somewhere where he's going to compete. He's going to want to go someplace where he's going to compete. The two spots that I could see him going would either be Denver and going with Russ, or I could see him going to the Los Angeles Rams.
Wait a minute, Rob.
Denver Broncos. My bad.
Wait a minute, man. I figured that coming to BGN would make things better for us as a collective, right? I thought that leaving, even though I'm technically still streaming this on my channel so you can see it, I didn't know we were going to be able to do that, so that's awesome. I'm glad for that. But I thought that this move would allow me to get the hell away from certain people. But Billy Mays shows up in the chat. This jerk, this asshole, Billy Mays. What are you doing, Billy Mays?
Billy.
Why are you here, Billy Mays?
Haven't you learned? Oh, Billy.
What are you doing here, Billy Mays?
Haven't you learned, Billy?
Can't stand you. Every time you show up, everything goes to shit. Every time I see your face, just misery and despair. It falls upon me like the rains from Hades.
Yo, we got Hub in the chat, man. Shout out to Hub, man, coming through the chat. We have a couple of other comments here. A couple of other comments here we got from Nerd Cage says AFC West is loaded. I wouldn't be surprised if all four teams make the playoffs. Nerd, I mean that's pretty. That's a bold statement. I mean, I would definitely think that all four of those teams are playoff contenders. No question about that.
Yeah, they 100% are. They 100% are all playoff contenders, man. It's
100%. I agree with you.
A tough ass division to play in, man.
Agreed.
But you know what? Like let's keep it all the way funky. I'm getting a little bit afraid of the AFC, man. Like AFC got a lot of real good quarterbacks in that conference, man. They got a lot of real good teams up in that.
I mean, you got Justin Herbert in that division, Mahomes, Derek Carr. Now you got Russell Wilson. I mean, those are we're going to see a lot of Monday night, a lot of Sunday night games. With that division, with that division going on there. Max says here, now one ship makes the trade worth it. No multiples necessary. I mean, you could maybe make that argument. I mean, I would think two would be I think he needs to make it to 2 Super Bowls, maybe winning one good. But we got Joseph Clark here says, always interesting. Former QB who builds rest of team and then trades for Peyton and Russ. Well, Peyton Manning was a free agent. He wasn't traded for. He was a free agent. But you're 100% right. Goes and gets it worked out for him once before, so maybe it might work out again.
Hell not.
Why the hell not?
Give that shit a shot, man.
Give it a shot. It worked for you last time. I mean, different quarterbacks, but I mean, hey, it worked for you last time. Then he says Seattle should trade those picks to the Giants for their 5th.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't do it for the 5th. I would do it for the 7th, but not the 5th pick.
The 7th?
I would do it for the 7th, not for the 5th pick. I wouldn't do it.
Okay. All right.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Self-serve says the boy Fair looking like an old man now. God.
Hey, listen. First of all, who the hell is self-serve? Who the hell is self-serve?
Maybe he's a process server.
I don't know who the hell that is.
Maybe he's a process server.
Hey, man, you ain't feeling bearded PTA. I gotta get this lined up though. I gotta.
So, question for you. So we had another trade today.
Yeah.
With another quarterback, and that was for good old Carson Wentz.
Wentz
going from the Colts to the Commanders for multiple picks.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes.
reported multiple picks. I don't think that we actually have.
I have not seen the details come out yet.
I have not seen the details, but your thoughts on Carson being back in the division and being with the Commanders? What's your initial thoughts on that?
So I am did I take my pills? Kush, you're such a piece of shit, Kush. So all right. Man, I was on the Carson Wentz hype train when he went
Commander
to the
Wentz.
I was on the Carson Wentz hype train when he went to the Colts, man. I was like, bro, Carson gonna go to the Colts. He gonna be his old self again. He gonna kill the game. And then he didn't. And I was so disappointed, man, because I like the Colts. Colts is the team that I rock with in the AFC or whatever, right? Because I was a big Peyton Manning fan when I was younger. So I got respect for that horseshoe. But now he's over in DC, and I have to hate him again. Like, I have to hate him by default. So that kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that in the over the course of a few hours, I went from rooting for Carson Wentz to be successful and go do good stuff, and now I hate his fucking guts again. I hate him. I think we went 30 minutes before I dropped the F-bomb, so that was good.
I'm very impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed with that.
Yeah, 30.
I mean, I'm definitely going to be rooting for Carson Wentz to stick it to the Eagles. Out of all of those teams in the division, the Commanders is ones that I can tolerate and whatnot.
I hate them.
Stuff like that.
I hate them.
The Cowboys and the Eagles,
I hate them.
I can't tolerate him. So I hope that he gives it to him. I mean, to be honest, I don't think that that's an improve. I think that they made a hard push for Green Bay. I think they also tried to make a hard push for Deshaun, for Aaron and for Deshaun. It didn't work out. I think that there were better options there for the quarterback position than Carson Wentz. I mean, you could look into Jordan Love. We talked about that. You could look into maybe trying to make a trade in that direction. I thought Cam Newton would have been a good option, to be honest. Reuniting him with Ron Rivera, that could have been an option. I would have even maybe picked up the phone and called Baker Mayfield and the Browns, and maybe even try to say, hey, is Baker on the chopping block? Are you guys willing to trade Baker Mayfield? And this is what we'll offer. I think it's time for Baker to have a new, get into a new scenario. And they have a great running back in Tyson Gibson, I believe is I know it's Gibson. I don't know if it's Tyson is his first name. But Gibson, they have a lot of good offensive weapons there in Logan Thomas and the tight end. And obviously Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. But I was shocked. I think it was a reach. I do. And I don't see why they make a trade for a quarterback when they had Taylor Heineke on there. I mean, this is the second time that Taylor's come out and played well, and he's going into the offseason without being told that he's going to be the main guy going in and stuff like that. I'm not saying you don't have to bring in competition, and maybe he beats out Carson Wentz. But if you make the trade and Carson's not your starter, and you apparently gave up multiple picks to get him, he better be your starter at that point, because you're going to look like an absolute idiot if he's not. So I think it definitely shakes up a lot of things to kind of use that to kind of transition into the next segment for the last 26 minutes that we got, which is how some of these moves are really going to anticipate and change things up for the Giants. I mean, you've got now, teams that are still quarterback needy teams out there in Pittsburgh. Is a quarterback needy team still. Denver's obviously off the board from being a quarterback needy team. Yep. The Saints, the Bucks are still viable teams that are looking potentially to add quarterbacks. So now you look at the Giants and you look at the draft picks. Well, I go down the list here, the NFL draft, right? So you got Jacksonville in the top 5. You got Jacksonville, Detroit, Houston, the Jets, and the Giants. Now, when I look at those guys, obviously Jacksonville's not going for a quarterback, but Detroit could. Detroit could potentially maybe go for a quarterback and bring in a guy like Kenny Pickett and try to get rid of, I don't know.
I don't know.
Goff.
get rid of Goff just yet. I think they give Goff one more year.
Listen, they could work out something where they take Kenny Pickett and they trade Jared Goff to a team like the Bucks.
I don't think that'll happen.
And the Bucks make a trade. You never know. But let's just stay on this perspective. A team could jump up to number 2 to grab a quarterback now.
Yeah, sure could.
Because and you also got to look at it. You got to feel the room and stuff. But they're anticipated to take a defensive end like a Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson. That's who they're projected to take. Houston's not going to go ahead and they're not going to want to take a quarterback with Davis Mills. They could. They could,
but they probably won't.
They probably won't. The Jets aren't obviously taking a quarterback. They could be willing. I think the Jets and the Giants could potentially be the 2 teams in the top 5 that teams could reach out to trade out of those positions and acquire picks and stuff like that. Now, if I'm the Giants, I don't want to move from the 5th pick because with the Jaguars tagging Cam Robinson, it's a very good possibility that Evan Neal slides. It's a very good possibility that they don't take Evan Neal because if you're going to draft Evan Neal, you're going to draft him to be your left tackle. They could still draft him to be an interior guy. But I could see both Jacksonville and Detroit going defensive ends is honestly who I could see them going with. Houston, I think, would probably go with an offensive lineman. The Jets could trade out. And if they do, Evan Neal could fall right to us at number 5. And then I'm holding at number 7, and maybe you make a trade, but you got Taylor Linderbaum that's sitting right there at number 7, or you could go with maybe Iquanu or Cross at tackle, and boom, that offensive line is immediately improved right there.
See, as I look at the order, if I'm the Jets and no quarterback has gone off the board when Houston is on the clock, I'm definitely on the phone with some folks. Like, hey, try and get this pick. Want to get your quarterback? You can come up here and get him. Like, I'd be on the phone quickly. If I kind of agree. I agree to an extent. Like, if I'm the Giants and I'm sitting at 5 and Jets don't want to trade. Someone calls me up, says, hey, I tried to move up over you. You know what I'm saying? I want to get this quarterback. I'm trying to get to you. How about we switch picks? I'll give you a 2023 first. I'll throw you a 2023 second. I'll throw you the 3rd round pick in this draft. Some kind of a package like that.
Yeah.
If I'm the Giants, if I'm like for real, if I'm the Giants, and I know this pisses people off, but if I'm the Giants, I'm moving because my priority is to get that draft capital for next year.
Yeah.
Okay. We know we're not going to move up. We know that there's no one here that we got to have, right? Because there really isn't. We got our pick of the litter. Even at 7, we still got our pick of the litter. So, it's not like we need to move. But what happens if next year we need to move? Because there's a quarterback that we want. And now we can package up. Now we can package up the 2 first-round picks that we have because we got that one last year. Bing, bang, boom. We got our quarterback. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm thinking, like, if I'm the Giants and someone calls me and what they're offering me is some future draft capital, and it's not super far down the board. I'm not trying to move too far down the board, but maybe I don't know. Maybe Seattle. Seattle. Maybe. Well, no, Seattle. Yeah. Maybe Seattle want to move up with that pick they just got from Denver.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the free agency market is. We'll have to wait till free agency because when you got a team, when you got to look at some of these quarterback needy teams, right? So you look at Pittsburgh, Bucks, Indianapolis, the Saints. Those 4 teams. Right off the top. The Bucks and to me, the Bucks in Pittsburgh are in win now mode. Like they're in win now. They've got the defense. Pittsburgh's got the defense to compete. They've got a young running back in Najee Harris. They've got some young, talented wide receivers. They have a decent offensive line. They're a veteran quarterback away from contending in that division, a division where the Browns are a shell of themselves. Now, obviously, you got to go through Baltimore and Cincinnati. Now, to me, Jimmy Garoppolo makes the most sense there because you can hand the ball off to Najee Harris, but Jimmy Garoppolo can win against teams with high-end quarterbacks, and he's done well. They swept the 49er or the 49ers swept the Arizona Cardinals and the Rams. Jimmy Garoppolo swept the Rams that just went to the Super Bowl and beat them 6 times in a row. So he's accustomed to playing against the tough division rivals. Their defense is that good. Now, when you look at the Bucs have a lot of free agents, but they're kind of in win mode right now as well. They just tagged Godwin. You got Mike Evans. Gronkowski maybe comes back. Who knows? They still have a good defense. They're also in win now mode too. The wild card question marks that we've got is Indianapolis, and it's the New Orleans Saints. Oh, and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I could see the Colts, the Seahawks, and the New Orleans Saints potentially going after young rookie quarterbacks to bring in, to develop, and to get started, especially Indianapolis. So now Indy seems more to me on the winning side than those two teams, but I think it's really gonna tall tale. If Indy doesn't go ahead and sign a veteran free agent, I could see them really making a jump and using the picks that they got for Carson, jumping up and taking Kenny Pickett and drafting that guy to be their next starting quarterback.
Okay, how far down the board are you willing to go? Because that's the first.
If I'm Indianapolis?
No. I'm talking about if you're the Giants.
Yeah.
Okay. No quarterbacks have been taken. Mm-hmm. Jets don't want to trade because they've got a person that they're in love with. We're sitting there at 5, and someone rings our phone to trade for our pick, and they're going to give us a good package. They're going to give us a good deal, a good package. Pause. They're going to give us a good trade package. You know what I'm saying? So that way, it's worth our while. How far down the board are you willing to go?
I mean, it would depend on the package, and it depend on where. I mean, I wouldn't want to go past 15.
Okay, well, going past 15, I mean, Indy is 16. So the only teams that need a quarterback within that 15, 16 range, I'm going to count 16 because Indy is there, and you were just talking about them. You got Indianapolis, right? You've got maybe Minnesota throws a wild card in there, and maybe they want to move on. I doubt it, but who knows, right? Certain things have happened. Seattle.
Where's Atlanta?
Atlanta is – where is Atlanta? Did Atlanta trade their picks or something? Atlanta is 8. So, yeah, Atlanta could want to move up. Atlanta could want to jump Carolina because they think that Carolina is going to take the quarterback. So, Atlanta can try to move up. Yeah, Atlanta. So, I mean, but again – because you were saying Pittsburgh, you were saying Tampa. Well, Pittsburgh's at 20 and Tampa's at 27. So that's a hell of that we get in a haul if we're going down the board that far.
I mean, I don't necessarily see a team like Pittsburgh really trading up. I could see them. I mean, I could see when I look at it, you could probably get a Ritter at 20, maybe even a Malik Willis at 20. Maybe you move up, a few spots, but I think more likely like Ritter would probably be there. But I'm taking Pittsburgh off the board because in my mind, I think that's where Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go, and that's where what makes the most sense is to go there. It's either there or Indianapolis is the two spots that to me make the most sense for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, you also got guys out there like Andy Dalton, that's a free agent. Mitchell Trubisky's a free agent. But I think the teams that could potentially move up, jump the gun to try to draft a quarterback or quarterback-needy teams that are kind of hitting the reset button. And, and that's Seattle. That's New Orleans. I mean, hell, it could even be, the Commanders. They could want to get somebody to bring in to be the future, the heir apparent of the team. They may not think Carson Wentz is the guy, but to me personally, it's Seattle and it's New Orleans are the guys that are really looking to probably get a younger quarterback in there and start from scratch.
I was waiting for you, Jason. Yeah, trade back and wind up with another safety, another project outside linebacker, and a 4-round lineman that doesn't pan out just to look smart instead of just having 1 or 2 for sure. Listen, Jason always kicks in the fucking door with violence. Like he just, everybody shut up because I'm talking now. That's Jason. Jason, brother, chill. We're just talking hypotheticals. We're just talking how, you know, hey, like how the happenings around the NFL could affect the Giants. Okay, I'm not saying that we're going to trade down. I'm not saying that we should trade down. I personally don't want to trade number 5. I'd be okay trading number 7 and going down a little bit. I do want to get more draft capital for next year in case we need to move up to get like a can't miss quarterback, right? Because there could be a can't miss quarterback in the next draft. So like I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking long term, but like I'm not saying it's gonna happen, bro. It could though. It doesn't make sense. Is it something that we should do? So chill. We're gonna at least get one surefire pick. We're gonna at least get one because we're not trading both. So we're gonna get one guy that can make a difference. And if we traded to get more draft capital and got more picks, because God knows we need as many damn picks. He said he's not angry.
I mean, this is the most uncertain that I've been going into an NFL draft.
Without 100%
in a long time. And it's strictly because we have 2 picks within like 3, like from 5 to 7. We have 2 of those 3 picks going from 5 to 7. So it's nerve-wracking. There's a lot of question marks, a lot of uncertainty with the teams that are ahead of us. I wish we were up a little bit and stuff like that. But and here's the thing too: the Giants could move up, you know, in the draft. I want to, and you brought this up to me. I want to ask this question, but and you brought it up to me before the show started.
Hub, no, we didn't. No, that's not what we said. We were talking about teams that could be interested in moving up and how far down the board we would be willing to go. I'm not saying no. We're not saying that. Oh, the Eagles do have that. I'm stupid. You're right.
So the Colts don't even have a first-round pick.
They don't have a first-round pick because the Eagles.
So if they were going to trade up, they would literally need to give players and picks.
It depends. It depends on what they're getting for Wentz.
I mean, if they call us and they give us Hines, a second-round pick, and maybe another player, I would be interested in taking the call.
Ugh, that's rough.
Or if they say, hey, for 5, we'll give you R2 and Quentin Nelson for your 5th pick, I would do that.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
But John Feliciano was cut by Buffalo. Allegedly, they asked him, to take a pay cut. He said no. He's been a pretty good offensive guard for them. I'm sure that they probably weren't anticipating him getting cut. But could be a good fit that kind of adds in, because I was always saying Brandon Sheriff is who I'd want to get. More likely, Laken Tomlinson was a fit now. But now you got John Feliciano that's becoming available at the guard spot. We still haven't heard a word on Will Hernandez and what they're doing with him, if they're cutting him, trading him. We haven't got any word on that. Still no word on Saquon. What would be your thoughts on them maybe bringing in John Feliciano? Obviously, Daves has familiarity with him from being in Buffalo.
So here's the thing, okay? And I have to put the whole thing in context, okay? So he was just asked to take a pay cut to stay on a Buffalo Bill team that's a surefire playoff contender, okay? He just got cut from that team because he did not want to take a pay cut to stay with a team that could potentially win the big one. Why would he come to the Giants?
I mean, the thing is, too, like, maybe he just didn't want to play for the team anymore. Maybe he didn't feel appreciated. Maybe he appreciated, Brian Daves. and that's kind of where he wants to go. I mean, look at it like this. I mean, there's been a rumor that went out that Von Miller was not happy with the original coach that was with the Denver Broncos, the defensive guy. Yeah, Vic Fangio, that he wasn't a fan, so he wanted to get away from him. Goes to the Rams. They get a couple of picks. He wins a Super Bowl, and now he's saying that he wants to go back because Fangio's gone. So it could be a tactic to where he doesn't want to take a pay cut, but he doesn't want to be there because he doesn't want to play for the coach anymore. Because maybe what was keeping him there was a relationship that he had with Brian Dable. So, I mean, it could – listen, at the end of the day, if he goes – I mean, I don't think he's an old guy, but he's not a young player. He could very easily go to the Giants and be one of the leaders in that offensive line room because of, him being there. So –
was that the end of your thought?
no, I was actually reading the fact that they actually thought I carried the show.
Yeah, well, you do. It's okay. You do. It's okay. I mean, yeah, yes, that could be the case. He could not want to be in Buffalo anymore, and or he wants to go where Dave's is. I mean, I don't know. I just have to look at it from a logical perspective, and that perspective is he's on a team that could potentially win a Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons. And they said, hey, man, why don't you just, take a little less money, but you can be a goddamn champion. And he said, nah, fam, peace.
Well, what does that say, though? I think that kind of proves my thought process that if it wasn't, it could be something that has to do with the relationship with the coach and him not wanting to be there. Because like you said, they just went to the conference championship game. They were a drive away.
Yeah.
They didn't even get a chance to touch the ball of going to the conference championship game, potentially going to a Super Bowl. So, who knows? So the fact that he doesn't want to resign or wouldn't want to take a pay cut to compete could say something for the communication, the relationship that he's got with the existing head coach. And maybe he was more attached to, a guy like, Dapes, and stuff like that. So, that's it. It's a divisional round. That's right. The divisional round. So, but I mean, you get my point, so I think there's a lot of opportunity. Obviously we've got 7 more days left before free agency actually opens up. It opens up March 16th.
Next week.
So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I believe it opens up on Thursday. It's either Thursday or Friday. No, I think it's Wednesday actually. When it opens up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I don't think that it's a bad signing. I really don't. And I like some of the moves that were made. Orlando Brown coming off the board, getting tagged. Cam Robinson getting tagged, coming off the board. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think we'll make a couple of free agent moves, but mostly it's going to be in the draft. That just really makes me nervous having 2 draft picks this high. I just don't want us to fuck it up.
No, listen, yeah, I feel you, man. We've had a track record of not doing well in the draft. I know this is a new regime, and so we have to give them a chance or whatever. But I don't feel comfortable. Earlier you said this is the most kind of like not unsure you felt.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way. Like I have no idea what this team's going to do, what's going to happen, who's going to be here, who's going to get traded. I'm just sitting here because I can't even predict what this team's going to do. I have no clue. There's been no leaks. There's no one talking about nothing. It is all quiet on Giants Drive. It is all quiet, and that's weird to me right now. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do just a quick rapid fire before we close this bad boy out because we are almost at an hour. So how about this? Okay, for this week, I'm gonna hit you with the rapid fire questions. Next week, you hit me, and we'll just
all right.
go. We'll just continue to do that as the show goes. So okay, rapid fire. Over under. Do you think Russell Wilson to the Broncos gives them a better chance to, or Russell Wilson gives them a chance to get to the Super Bowl? Over or under? Do you agree? Do you
I would say. I mean, I would agree. I would agree with that.
Okay. All right. Aaron Rodgers doomed the Green Bay Packers. Agree or disagree?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I would agree.
Okay,
with
great. That's one we're going to talk about in the future. Great. All right. Here is the next one. Jimmy G. You mentioned Indianapolis. You mentioned Atlanta. You mentioned Pittsburgh. Potentially Tampa Bay. Where is he going? First question, where's Jimmy G going? You have to pick one place. You put him. Where's
Pittsburgh.
he going? He's going to Pittsburgh. Okay, Jimmy G's in Pittsburgh. Odds that they win the division. Are they about 75% odds, or are they 100% odds that they can win the division?
I would say I would give him 25% chance of winning the division. 75% of it. Actually, no. Let me be a little bit more realistic. I would say 65%. That Bengals are winning the division. I would say the other 35% would go to Pittsburgh. I think they're the second. If they get Jimmy Garoppolo, they're easily the second best team in the division.
Okay. All right. Cool. And last one. Evan Ingram. Where's he going? Because he ain't here. Where's Evan Ingram going?
Man, I would probably say if I had to make a choice, I could see now that they have a vacant spot. I could see him going to Denver. They've got an open, tight end spot there. They could probably get him on a cheap, 1 or 2 year deal, maybe a prove it deal. Pair him up with, with Russell Wilson. You could definitely probably get him pretty cheap and everything like that. And I think Denver would probably be the more attractive, and it's going to help him out because you got Tim Patrick there, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. You got a solid running game, and now you got Russell Wilson throwing you the football. They have a good pass on an offensive line. They were ranked 11 in pass protection last year and the year after that as well. So I think Denver makes the most sense for them to go after Evan Ingram.
Okay. All right, cool. So listen, y'all, that's going to be the end of the Giants talk on BGN Network for this week. We will be back next week. I'm going to try and get some guests here. But I figured we do the first one just us so we can figure out how things work and learn this damn studio, because I'm telling y'all, man, there's all kinds of stuff in here and I still don't know what it is. But yeah, man, we greatly appreciate y'all. Rob, what's the next thing you got going on?
Really for the next thing, that I got going on, is really just, not really too much. We got another YouTube video, up last week that I uploaded. And I'm going to be it's going to be a delayed one, but I'm going to be getting up one covering the 2 cuts that we had. I was going to make one talking about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, but I kind of want to keep my channel specifically on Giants content, and not necessarily, really talking about other stuff. I'll talk about it when we do our live streams and stuff like that. But keep checking out the YouTube, guys. We're at 94 subscribers on YouTube. We hit 100. I'm giving away a $15 gift card, your choice. So if you win, you could choose a gift card where you want to go. So when we hit 100 subs on there, and then we're also grinding on Twitch to become partner. So if we hit partnership by December 31st of 2022, I'll be giving away either $250 or an Xbox Series S.
OGN, baby. OGN into the house.
OGN into the house, baby. So that's what we're doing there. And also, man, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to follow BGN if you're watching on Facebook. Make sure to follow us on BGN so that you get all the notifications. Turn your notifications on anytime BGN goes live. Follow PTA's YouTube, this YouTube here. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, sharing, tweeting it out. Even if the video's over, tweet them out. Tag us, tag me, tag PTA. We'll like it. We'll retweet it. And also leave a comment down. If you're watching it after hours, leave a comment. one of us will definitely respond to that 100%. So we love you guys. We appreciate the love and support, and we can only go forward from here. So.
Yeah. So yeah, listen, that's all that needs to be said, y'all. Greatly appreciate y'all for rocking with us today, man. This was a great show. Can't wait to see you guys next week. I'll have some stuff going on. I'm getting everything situated, and once things get situated, we'll be back on Twitch repping that OG and hard. So yeah, that's the show, y'all. Appreciate y'all, and we gonna go ahead and get out of here. We'll catch y'all later. Deuces. That's it, right?
Yeah, it still says
Yeah.
live.
That's it. Because I pushed the button, and then I thought when you push the button, the thing it doesn't end.
No, I think you have to push the end stream button.
The end stream button. Hey, that's a button. I didn't know that's a button.